The episode starts with Ved saying to Artie that first they will go to Temple Darshan of Mahadev, and later go to their room and make a lot of love. Pankaj hands over the goons they have captured to the local cops. Jeanie gets upset thinking Ved and Artie have escaped once again. Callie asks Jeanie, how could Ved and Artie escape again? Jeanie says to Callie that someone is protecting Ved and Artie like a shield. A goon comes to Jeanie and says to Jeanie that Pankaj has come from Delhi and he is handing over the goons to the local cops, and an old lady is beating up their men. Jeanie asks the goon if he has gone mad. The goon says he is telling the truth and asks Jeanie to believe him. Jeanie asks the goon to show her the old lady. The goon points to an old lady, but the goon sees it is not Anjali. Jeanie asks the goon how does the old lady look like. The goon points to Artie and says the old lady looks like her. Callie says to Jeanie it means Anjali has arrived and she is protecting Ved and Artie. Jeanie asks the goon to follow Ved and Artie. Jeanie spots Abe at Banaras. Jeanie recalls Sadhika's words saying Abe has come to Banaras to do romance with Anjali. Jeanie comments on Abe in her heart. Jeanie follows Abe for a while, but she loses track of him after a while. Jeanie and Callie go looking for Abe. Abe sees Jeanie leaving. Abe says to Jeanie in his heart that she might have found him, but she will never find Anjali. Abe says to Jeanie in his heart that she will have to pass by him to kill Anjali. Anjali prays to Bholanath and asks Bholanath to give her strength to fight against her enemies. Abe comes to Anjali and says to Anjali how much he loves her and tries to convince her to accept his love. Anjali argues that she belongs to Aman. Abe reminds Anjali that Aman has passed away and comments on it. Abe swears on God and says to Anjali how much he loves her. Test news and upcoming twist on. The episode starts with Abe asking Anjali to give him a chance and asks Anjali to accept him. Abe makes a promise to Anjali that he will not touch her without her consent. Abe later tries to put cinder in Anjali's hairline. Anjali stops Abe and says to Abe that she would never allow this to happen. Anjali leaves from there. Jeanie witnesses the from afar. Jeanie says to Anjali in her heart that she will kill Anjali. Jeanie says to Abe in her heart that he has done really wrong with her. Jeanie calls Damodar and says to Damodar that before marrying him she will kill Anjali and comments on it. Kavya gets ready to go to the party. Mehak asks Kavya if she is going outside. Kavya says yes. Mehak asks Kavya if she and Yuvraj can come with her to the party. Kavya argues with Mehak and asks Mehak if she wants to party and drink alcohol. Mehak says to Kavya that girls from good families do not drink alcohol. Kavya asks Mehak if she means that she doesn't come from a good family. Yuvraj comments on Mehak and reprimands her. Yuvraj asks Mehak to call Raghav and asks Raghav for Rs 10 lakhs. Yuvraj says he wants to throw a party too. His friends. Mehak argues with Yuvraj and says she will not call Raghav. Yuvraj forcefully calls Raghav from Mehak's phone. Yuvraj asks Raghav to give him money Rs 10 lakhs as he wants to party with his friends. Raghav comments on Yuvraj and doesn't agree. Yuvraj says to Raghav that if he doesn't give him the money then Mehak might die in an accident. Yuvraj says to Raghav that no will save them. Raghav says to Yuvraj that Anjali will come to save them. Yuvraj says Anjali is going to die in Banaras, and he threatens to torture Mehak. Raghav, without having a choice, agrees to give the money. Raghav blames himself for his situation. Sanya comforts Raghav. Sadhika asks Raghav to give the money to Yuvraj and mocks him. Sadhika also speaks ill of Anjali and says because of Anjali the Rajput family will be humiliated. Raghav warns Sadhika to be not speak ill of Anjali and leaves from there. Jeanie says to Callie that Ved and Artie are going to leave in a boat by the river and that boat will belong to them. Jeanie says Anjali will also be on that boat. Jeanie says they are going to kill all three of them and she will go to Damodar and Callie can go to her home. Anjali overhears their conversation. Anjali calls Pankaj and says to Pankaj that fourth location has been found. Anjali says to Pankaj that Ved and Artie are going to leave by a boat for Ganga trip. Anjali says Jeanie and Callie are going to swap the boat with their boat. Anjali says Jeanie knows she will be on the boat, so they are thinking of killing her also. Pankaj encourages Anjali, saying no one can kill her. Ved and Artie do a romantic dance in the night. The next day, Ved and Artie get on the boat. Jeanie and Callie round them up with their guns in the middle of the trip. The episode starts with Callie saying to Artie that today her love story will end. Callie says to Artie that she knows Artie has saved her and give her a new life, has done so much for her. Callie says to Artie that she doesn't want to do this, but she loves Ved. Callie says to Artie that when she married Ved, she was very happy. Callie comments on Artie as she has taken her everything. Callie says to Artie that she will die today and comments on it. Callie asks the goons to kill Artie. The goon gets ready to shoot Artie. Anjali shoots the goon. Anjali beats up the goon. Anjali hands over the goons to the cops. Pankaj asks Jeanie and Callie to come with the cops. Anjali later takes off her disguise. Anjali says to Artie that she knows Artie hates her, but she always loves her. Anjali asks Ved to take care of Artie and says she knows one day Artie will come looking for Anjali. Artie says to Anjali that she will never look for her. Artie says to Anjali that she knows Anjali has come here with Abe. Anjali says to Artie that she is misunderstanding her. Artie says to Anjali that she has seen Anjali and Abe illicit affair with her own eyes. Artie leaves from there. Ved comforts Anjali. Raghav calls Anjali and speaks to Anjali with love. Raghav begs Anjali to return to the Rajput mansion and take care of the Rajput family. Raghav says to Anjali that Rajput family is being ruined. Anjali asks Raghav what happened. Raghav, with tears in his eyes, says to Anjali how Mehak is being tortured by Yuraj. Raghav says to Anjali that if she wants, he will do her marriage with Abe. Anjali says to Rajput family that she will come to the Rajput family only as widow of Aman Singh Rajput and comments on it. Raghav agrees and cuts the call. Sadhika and Vaibhav come to Raghav. Sadhika argues with Raghav as he wants to do marriage of Abe and Artie and ruin the reputation of the Rajput family. Sadhika asks Raghav to join an old age home. Raghav asks Sadhika how can she say this. Vaibhav defends Sadhika. Raghav comments on them. Raghav gets a call from Chandraman. Chandraman says to Raghav that he is going to stand in elections and asks Raghav to sponsor it. Chandraman asks Raghav to make his property into two parts and write half of the property on Mehak and Yuraj's name. Raghav asks Chandraman what will he do if Raghav doesn't do what Chandraman says. Chandraman hints at killing Mehak. Raghav thinks now only Anjali can save him. Jeanie makes a call to Damodar from Pankaj's phone and asks Damodar to get her out of jail and says she has to ruin Abe's life. Episode ends. Precap, Anjali asks Abe what are these things. Abe says to Anjali that he wants to show her that he can do anything for her. Abe says to Anjali that he can also buy this entire basti and give it to her if she wants. Anjali, hearing it, agrees to marry Abe.